Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about self-confidence. And before you tune out, and I know you're thinking about it, stop, right? How many people have said to you, I don't give a frek, I don't care, your opinion doesn't matter? You know what I'm talking about, right? They do care, your opinion does matter, and they're trying to convince themselves it doesn't. That's the reality there, right? Because if you didn't care, like you say, you don't believe in aliens, how often would you talk about aliens if you did believe in them? Same thing here. If you didn't care, you wouldn't care to comment. That's how you know. But if you want to be self-confident so you can genuinely listen to people and just shrug it off, then these are a few things you need to understand. One, this is the most important, so pay attention. You cannot please everybody. It's just impossible. You can't do it. And if you try, you will fail. You have to accept that as part of life. You will not be able to please everybody. And sometimes when you're being an absolute saint and doing everything exactly right, people will hate you because you're doing it exactly right. So you can't please everybody. So just don't even try. That's a massive weight off your mind straight away, right there. Second, out of thousands of people you know, how many actually know you? How many have invested in your life, or have an interest in you doing well and care about you? Not many, I'm guessing. So, when these people that don't know you start talking to you and offering opinions, understand they're not invested in your life, so you can take or leave what they say with a pinch of salt. You don't have to take it on board at all. That's lesson number 2. Three, if you do have somebody that is invested in your life, they do know you and they do want the best for you, you listen to them. They're the ones with the most important voice in your life. You listen to them. Now, these 3 rules will set you up for what I'm about to say. Now, if you wanted to be, I would say, sure of yourself, which is what we're talking about here, first of all, you'd have to analyse everything you thought you did wrong to make sure you understood why it went wrong. And then you'd have to be honest with yourself about the results. You couldn't lie to yourself and be self-confident and self-assured. You couldn't do that. You have to know. And you have to know in yourself that was right, that was wrong. And be able to answer people honestly. When somebody said, you made a mistake there, you go, yeah, I know, I shouldn't have done that, I should have done this. Because you know you've done it wrong, you've analysed it, you can see where the problem is, and you've learned from it. That's how you become self-assured. Self-confident by analysing your own actions. Somebody comes up to you and goes, you know, you did that wrong because, you listen to the because. You think about the because, apply it to what you already thought about, see if it made any difference to the outcome of your thought process. And if it does, you update your opinion and you move on. That way you've learned from what's been said to you. Only by doing these things, by analysing stuff and then drawing conclusions, can you be sure of yourself when people say, did you know you are and you can know they're right or wrong because you've already thought about it, because you've already questioned yourself and you've listened and taken on board what people have said on the context of, does this person give a damn about me or not? Because if they don't, they'll lie out their asses to upset you if that's what they're inclined to do. Right? So if you listen to the people around you that know you and they say you're doing this, you shouldn't, stop it, and you take that on board and you think about it and you come to conclusions about it, when that comes up again, you're sure of the answer you're giving and you can be sure of yourself. And when somebody random comes along and says to you, look, right, you're completely wrong here, you will know whether they're speaking nonsense, don't know what they're talking about, because you would have already thought about all these things. You'll be sure of yourself because you've already considered all possibilities. Now, the danger is doing that without thinking it through. They call that arrogance, right? You're absolutely arrogant because you just assumed you're right. You just assumed they're wrong and you just blurted it out like an idiot. Right? So you don't do it without thinking. You have to take on board the criticism and the compliments, think it all through, and don't fall for the ego trap. You know, where people start complimenting you all the time. Don't fall for that. Take the compliments as meaning well, but don't necessarily believe all your own hype. I mean, when you're doing anything, like releasing stuff like I do, Ego plays a part in promoting your work. There's no doubt about it. You have to let the ego out of the box at them times. But don't believe your own hype. So, if you want to be confident that when people talk to you, and you can say, no, you're absolutely wrong, and no, you're right, think things through. Go over the facts. Draw conclusions. It's very important you don't do it forever. You have to draw a conclusion. I mean, if you sit there and you think about something for 15 minutes, draw a conclusion at the end of that 15 minutes and file that conclusion away until more information comes along. This is how you become confident in yourself and your abilities. If someone said to you, can you just roller skate down to the chip shop and get me some fish and chips, and you've never roller skated in your life, you could be confidently say, if I did that, I'd have an accident. Right? It's a simple example, but you get what I mean. Be honest. If you're honest and say, no, can't do that, or yep, I made a mistake, yep, that was my fault, you've drawn a line under it. That's it, it's end of it. The only people that drag it out after you say sorry are people that are causing trouble. You see it a lot with the, what they call it, political correct crowds. You know, you say sorry, they must die horribly. Right? They're after causing trouble. They don't want an apology, they just want to see you burn. They're your enemies, right? And this is why I don't support political correctness. So if you know you've done right, and you know you've done wrong, and you just put your hand up to it either way, and you think about it and draw conclusions, like you would when you're making an apology. When you apologise, you say, right, I won't do it again. I will seek to correct my mistake, and I'm sorry it happened in the first place. It's like that, except for you doing it for yourself. Anyway, at the end of the day, when your boss comes to you and starts pointing the finger, going, you did this, blah, 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 you'll be able to confidently say, no, sorry, you're wrong, boss. I mean, I see everybody as equals, from the boss all the way down to the humblest person in the company I work for. And I don't see them, I don't live in fear of what the boss might say. I don't live in fear of what my underlings might say. And I don't live in fear of what anybody else might say. It's just, is it right? Is it wrong? I'm confident in the fact that if it's right, I will do the right thing. If it's wrong, I will not do that thing. This is where I get my confidence from. And this is why I can be certain, that what I'm doing is the best thing for me at the time. You're going to make mistakes. And what do you do if you make a mistake and you want to be confident in yourself in the future? What do you do? Think about it. Answer? You correct the mistake. You put your hand up and say, I did this, you correct the mistake. This way you're taking away any doubts, right, that you may plant in your own head. By owning up to your mistakes, that's gone. You will not dwell on that anymore. That's gone, you've owned up to it, you move on, you're confident. If you made a mistake and you try and hide it, niggly doubt at the back, means you will not be confident. So there you go. Confidence, how to be assertive, self-confident, and just all about understanding yourself and thinking about your actions and drawing a conclusion. That's the important thing, drawing a conclusion. And the 3 points mentioned at the beginning, if you can't please everybody, when you're trying to make people happy and they say no, right, I'm not interested, I don't like you, and you get upset and you get worried, you wonder how you could improve things to make that person like you, that's not a path to self-confidence, that's a path to mental health issues. Right, self-confidence is knowing you can't please them and just getting on with your life. And that is what they call not giving a frek. It's also only a small part of this whole topic. See you in the next one.